was like a time of confidence and naivety. You know, I didn't really.
Like, bro, I just, like, the shock on my face in that moment, when I realized, like, I was in the wrong whip, it was a combination of humor, like, I was laughing, but I was also, like...
And then we could give it back.
Yeah, and then we could do like a. Yeah, that'd be cool. Okay. Okay.
Damn, video looks good on this sucker.
So I know there is a single you guys have coming out next month. Just in general, like. Okay, I can't do this with the camera.
Come on, you can do this.
We gotta switch.
Just a little gay kid, like listening to a lot of pop music, and that's kind of where I got into electronic. And electronic is so limitless, and it just begs people to get crazy, and so I think maybe I migrated into an experimental scene kinda because of relationships I had, and I never saw myself migrating into like a band. So I was in a band in college, and I was like, that was the worst experience of my life. I don't know if I've told you guys about that.
Who is Casino Hearts, and what does Casino Hearts mean to you?
Casino Hearts is Nick Miner, Forrest, and me, Jacob Rubeck. And basically, for me at least, Casino Hearts is kind of like the name itself comes from just growing up in the casino environment. And basically, the way that I look at it is like when we were like young, we had to be surrounded by this culture of like gambling and kind of like degeneracy and kind of like living in a world of just kind of like evilness. And I spent a lot of time walking to those casinos and avoiding it to stay warm when I was like walking around in Reno. And basically the name kind of is like the survival of true hearts in a weird and crazy world. What about you guys? Do you have any takes on that, Nick?
I think for me, Casino Hearts is like when Jacob was first working on it, to me it seemed like a project about relationships, and I feel like that still rings true, but sort of in a different sense. I think a lot of it's been like recently been like about like us and like kind of how we look at the world or experience certain things, and the sort of like connection within that, and in sort of like, you know, different terms. It's not always you know, about like your struggles with your, you know, love life or whatever. It's like about, you know, how you see the world and interact with people around you and interact with each other. Forrest?
I don't really have anything.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Y'all ready?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, just as people, without revealing too much, what did you all do before Casino Hearts? And with those past experiences and with new understandings, in that before time, in memory, is that something that is still implemented into Casino Hearts to this day? Whether it was a hardship, a beautiful moment you might have experienced or just something else. How does the contrast between then and now define the future, not only for Casino Hearts, but for all of you?
Wow.
Damn, girl.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go first, or you want me to go for it?
I can't think of like a profound moment, but before Casino Hearts, I was like just on my laptop making like electronic things and like getting nerdy and very much just like not working with other people. I feel like the profound moment came once I started working with you guys, because I was like applying it in a way that felt more meaningful than like just sometimes music can be so like an escape for me, where I'm just trying to like find something for my mind to be occupied by rather than like sharing a moment with friends. But I feel like, yeah, that is like our future with this project is making moments together and letting all of our like past be brought into it.
I was a dishwasher before I started Casino Hearts. Yeah, basically, I've always just been happy to have friends and to be able to like make my friends laugh or learn something from somebody. And I just always feel like that just applies in life. Like you really can be motivated and you can get through a day just by talking with people, like either people you love or, just strangers, which I really, really enjoy talking with strangers more than ever in my life. I used to go around in Vegas when I lived there for like a year going back, and I would just go to bars and just talk to people. And it was just like a way to get myself out of my shyness. And I recommend anyone just going and doing that. Just go out and just talk to fucking people. But it's like the creative endeavor though that comes with relationships with people is like so profound in itself, and like being able to like make music with Forrest and Nick is not only like a lot of fun, but it's like you really can see the shine and like the beauty of like each person like putting themselves into the music, and then also like putting like a little piece of like who they are on a document, pretty much of a time and place that is always going to be there, and it's going to be recorded, and it's going to be out there for other people to hear. And it's all love. It's just all love, no matter what surrounding, going from before and after. You just got to continue that stream of love streams.
I've lived a lot of sort of different working lives, I guess, before this. I studied art in college and thought I wanted to do that, and I was doing this with Jacob too, and like working on music. Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of different things that are really far away from this. I mean, I taught high school for a year, or better part of a year. Shout out Dayton High in Nevada. Dust Devils. Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of comes down to like, what do you want to, put your life towards? And, there's a time when I didn't think I wanted to do this anymore. But you can't really get away from that. Like, it doesn't really work. And so it's like, how are you going to figure out how to get on? And I mean, this is kind of the thing that, I've, I guess, picked to like invest in. like emotionally and creatively. And I think like Jacob said, like it's important to have people around you. So like these are my people, and what we do is make this. And so it's just about like trying to give all of yourself to that, I guess.
Does that ever get draining?
Sorry, what?
Does that ever get draining?
Yeah, totally. I mean, this is hard. Like, this is not a easy way to like. This is a tough way to live. Like it's like, you're up against it. Like, there's a lot of resistance, like internally, and externally, because nobody is gonna be like, oh yeah, it's like a super good idea to like make art or like go like play music or like live in a van essentially for months out of the year and be away from your family and stuff. So like you have to want to be there, I think. But I've tried not doing this and it's worse. So it's like, you just chase it because it's what's right, I guess. But yeah, I think it's hard. I think everybody struggles with, like, I know all sorts of people who we have this conversation all the time about, like, is this worth feeling this way all the time? I think, from my experience, I've done so many things that were like running away from this, I guess. So yeah, this is still better at the end, like it just is.
Yeah.
And you get to do something that you like are proud of. So, yeah. And with people that you care about, which is like, that's all anybody really wants, right?
It's it's what makes it all worth it. Like you can like, for me at least, like just like growing, like just like working as a dishwasher before and like coming home and like needing and like absolutely needing to like create something or make something. It's just kind of like that's what you live for, it's hard, but it's like so worth it, because like the way that like music just works, it's like you're connecting with people on how to like create a song, or you put yourself so much into something and then you set it out into the world, and if people can relate to it, they'll support you in that, and you support them by like doing your best as like an artist to spread some sort of gospel into people's life. It's your way of relating to people. It's your way of like showing that people aren't alone in this world. You give your own interpretation of a situation, a relationship, like life itself, your own sort of like ideas, and people can like latch on to that, and then they believe in that because they're like, I've felt that way too. I hear you, and then you go and you play the shows, and you're able to like be in that room, and then you see other people in that room, and they're like, you're here too? Oh, you get this, and then that in itself is just kind of like what makes it all like worth it, is like you really do bring everybody together, like it's so special to be in the room with these two and like do the damn thing and like be able to record and be able to like lay down ideas and then actually like presenting it and like maybe taking it on the road or whatever. It's like you really can like feel the love spread, and I think that makes it all like absolutely worth it.
Hell yeah.
That felt brand new, and so I know that we did something that like feels like, oh, it's gonna like live forever, and everyone should chase something that lives forever. Nick, do you have anything to say to that?
Yeah, I feel like you can kind of feel it like sync up. And I think like RU's a good example, because when we were working on that song, when Forrest brought in like this like different drum break, it kind of like was like, oh, like we have like a heading now. Like this is like we have a destination to get to now. Mm-hmm. And then everybody's kind of like all on board. And I think after that we kind of like, it kind of gave us like a new lens on some older stuff, and we kind of like shuffled back through and kind of like redid some things, and it was like, oh, like no, like this is like where we're going, and you can kind of just like feel the buzz about it, and usually that's like a good sign, like you know that you're working towards something good, or that feels good.
You catch the spark.
Yeah, and I mean you can feel like everybody kind of like get synced up and like go in the same direction on it, and I feel like that's like a good example, because I feel like we have sat on some of these songs for like 3 years, 45 years. Yeah, so like like you like kind of hit that and you're like, oh, okay, this all makes sense now, and we have to just go back and just like put this in everywhere. And that's like really, I feel like, what kind of defined the EP for us in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Was there a moment in the EP where, like, in the process of making it, you're like, yeah, this is amazing?
I feel like we felt pretty good about it from pretty early on.
Yeah, it was like that moment with that song, like, was like, it was just like an outpouring of the rest of it. It was kind of, I don't know.
We just picked up speed.
We just picked up speed. Sometimes I feel like music, or just like a huge expelling of like your bowels or something. Like it just happens, and you're like, oh my god, and that you don't feel like you don't like. Yeah, it's like it always feels like some kind of high when you're in the middle of it. So it's hard to like look at it when you're in the middle of it and be like, we're doing it, because you're just like excited about every idea until it's done, and then we were like super happy at the end of it.
And just loved her intention and like the way that she would, really make songs come to life. And I just did not want to stop that collaboration with her, which is why I wanted her to be in Casino Arts like so bad. But it's just like it's like so nice to like be able to like find each other through scenes, because it's very lonely in some places. Like, and sometimes like the loneliness makes you want to like go outward and forward and to venture off into different scenes and find people that like you can relate to about stuff, because it's important to be able to relate to people.
I kind of wanted, I guess, to, I don't know, I really wanted to be, I guess, in the scene in Reno. I couldn't really find a way in when I was like younger in SAC, so when I got to Reno it was like a lot easier to find like a community. I mean, that's how I met Jacob, was like through a mutual friend. So
Yappy dogs.
Yeah, LA has the most ill-behaved dogs in the country per population count.
Everyone wants a dog.
I don't know, maybe that's a hot take.
Care of the dog.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think like similarly, like there's like a community in Reno that's really good, and was able to kind of enter that both with like art and music. So I think, I mean, I kind of, in a literal sense, migrated down here to work on this project because Jacob and I had been talking about it and been separated for so long that we just like wanted to be together to work on it again. Yeah, so I think everything drains, all roads lead to the ocean, you know?
I'm very excited to be in Ireland!
Why should people care about Casino Arts?
if you like real, honest, bare-boned, all truth, no lies kind of band, you should listen to us. Otherwise, you don't have to listen to us. You can do whatever you want with your life. Yeah, anyone can either like us or hate us or whatever, you know. But if you wanna hop on board, you totally can. You're more than welcome to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best piece of advice, wisdom, or motivation that you've received, and it can be like literally from anything. It could be like a show or a random stranger or.
Damn. There is a David Lynch book. I forget what it's called. I'm reading it right now. It's like a fishing through something, but it's just like every answer that I've kind of like come up with for myself, my own philosophies of like creating things or like intention or whatever. He has the same sentiment, and then he explores it like a little bit more in it. I just recommend anyone to read that and read every single page and just learn from that. Also, just any sort of Yoko Ono small book that you can find where it's her just being like, go plant your thoughts under a tree and come back to that tree a year later and feel, you know, and see if you feel that same way about that. Also, just walk, just walk and understand and take in your breath and take your time with things, and don't just want the immediacy of, you know, life. Just be able to take time with yourself and enjoy the silence and enjoy the moments to yourself. You got one?
I don't have one. You go.
All right. I've been thinking a lot about. There was like I think it was like after like Lou Reed died, there was a pin that people were making in Reno that said like Lou Reed gave his life, and I think about that a lot. Just to like I really admire that level of like commitment to something. I don't think I'm doing that, but like I want to. But I guess the other thing is like exercise is really good for your mental health. Like it just is. Like if you run, it's good for you. If you do anything like that, it will help. And I believe in that pretty strongly. That's been like probably the most like immediately helpful thing I've noticed.
And don't breathe out of your mouth.
Yeah, don't breathe out of your mouth,
Don't
I
be a
guess.
mouth
Yeah. And then my friend Henry gave me a book recently that was like about like working against like resistance when trying to make art, and that's been helpful to kind of put things in context, or at least like give a name to the enemy of like complacency or you know, not doing the things you need to do or when things get difficult. So that's been kind of helpful too. I think it's called The War on Art. It's kind of like a self-help for creatives, I guess. So don't knock those. Those are good.
Yeah.
Lose your phone and forget where it. Yeah, literally forget where it is
Toss it.
for like 2 days at
Every time
least.
Forrest tosses her phone and I see it, I'm like,
I
that is the
do.
right idea.
Throw your phone without, yeah, just throw it
Throw it
somewhere,
and
and then
lose
just
it.
like let your ADHD snap in and forget
Yeah.
all about where it went. And that's like, I think, I don't know. I wish I like had someone that like told me this. It just feels like living and like realizing how unreal so much is has made me value those moments that are off of a screen and off of even thinking about the broader picture, the things close to us and the things that are small.